Everyone, welcome to this video lesson for these next set of notes. So make sure that you have paper and pencil ready to copy everything down in order for you to understand this lesson. All right, so here we go. First thing we do is we identify the name of this video lesson, which is factor by grouping. So we're going to learn how to factor by grouping, right? First thing we do is identify the name. Second thing we do is we're going to identify three key things that we need to know while we were doing this assignment. So first thing here, first little Pac-Man here is group every two like terms, okay? We're going to keep that in mind. We're going to group every two like terms, okay? Next, we are going to find common factors, okay? And then next, we are going to look for same parentheses. Now, all of that might not make sense right now, but it will in a few minutes, right? So let's take a look at this first example, right? We are going to factor each completely, right? So three examples, we're going to factor each completely. So the first bullet point here says group every two like terms, okay? So we're going to group here. So we're going to say every two. So we're going to group those two, and we're going to group those two. Look at that. So we're going to say 14 k to the power of 3 plus 10 k to the power of 2. We're going to group that plus 49k plus 35. All right. So what can I factor out, right? What number can go into 14 and 10? So what number can go into 14 and 10? So where do I see 14 and 10 in the same aisle? 14, but not 10. Oh, look, 10 and 14. It's 2. Everybody see that with little hand is? 2. 2 goes into 14 and 10, right? So I'm going to divide this whole thing by 2. Okay? Well, what else do they both have? K to the third and k to the second. Well, I can take out k2 out of both, right? I can take out k squared out of both. So when I divide, I'm going to divide 14 divided by 2 is 7. K3 over K2. Remember, same basis, so I subtract 3 minus 2 is 1. So I get K to the power of 1. Plus 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then K and K, it means that I can subtract 2 minus 2 is 0, right? So I'm left with 7k to the first plus 5. And then remember, this term that we divided by goes into the front of the parentheses here, outside. 2k squared. Perfect, 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 perfect. So let's do the same thing with this parentheses. So I'm going to look at my multiplication chart, 49 and 35. What number can go into 49 and 35? So let's see. Do I see 49 anywhere? No. Keep looking. Keep right there. Look, 49. 7. But does it also go into 35? Yes, perfect. 35 and 49 can divide by 7. So I'm going to divide by 7. Look at that. Now, this has k, but this does not have k, so I can't take out k. I can't divide by k, right? So I get plus 49, right? 49 divided by 7 is 7. And this k is still there because I didn't divide by anything, 7k. 35 divided by 7 is plus 5. And I put parentheses. And this 7 that I divided by goes on the outside here, just like this. 7. Right? Now, this is technically 7k to the first. Now, look what just happened, everybody. Look at this parentheses and look at that parentheses. They're the exact darn same thing, right? They're the exact same thing. So that means that instead of writing it twice, I'm only going to write it once. So check this out. I'm only going to write it one time. 7k to the first plus 5. Look at that. So instead of writing it twice, I'm going to write it once. Well, what's left over? Well, what's left over is 2k squared plus 7. So these two that are left over, poor guys were left alone, I'm going to put those two together so they're not by themselves, right? So I'm going to say 2k squared plus 7, and I'm going to close that up. And that right there, kiddos, is our final answer. I have factored this 4-term, right? These 4 terms, and I factored them, right, to get these 2 binomials. So if I multiply everything together here, if I do the monkey face, right, I'm going to get this. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So let's do the same thing on the second example. All right, let's do it. So let's move on here. Let's pick a different color. Let's go with this dark red. So again, I'm going to group. So let me group here. So I'm going to say 7ab plus 42a. Well, both of those have a. That's perfect. Plus negative 6xb. And then minus 36x. Well, both of those have x, and 6 and 36 I know are going to go together as well. Okay. So let's deal with this first parenthesis first. 7 and 42. 7 and 42. Let's take a look. Where can I find 7 and 42? 42 is there. But I can't find 7. Oh, 42 is right here. And 7. Look at that. 7 and 42, it's 7. All right, so I'm going to divide by 7 here. And they both have a and a, right? Which is kind of technically a to the first. So I can take out a to the first on both. All right, so what am I left with? Let's see. 7 divided by 7 is 1. A to the first divided by a to the first, so I subtract 1 minus 1 is 0, no more a's. So this b is just going to come down just like this. 42 divided by 7 is a positive 6 plus 6. And a to the first over a to the first, 1 minus 1 is 0, so no more a's, right? And then remember, we're going to take our 7a to the first, and we're going to write it right here, right in front. 7a to the first. Perfect. Look at that. All right, so let's take a look at this parentheses now. So I'm going to look at 6 and 36. So let's take a look here. Let's find, look at this. 36 is right there. Oh, darn it, but there's no 6. Where else can I find? Oh, right there. Look, 36. Do I have 6? Yes, I do. So 6. 6 goes into both. Right? So let's divide both of them by 6. And we both have x to the first, so x to the first. And they both have negative, so let's take out negative as well. So what do we have left? All right, I bring down my plus. Okay, negative 6 divided by negative 6 is just 1. Okay. X to the first over x to the first, 1 minus 1 is 0, no more x's, and then I just bring down b. Negative 36 divided by negative 6 is positive 6. And x to the first over x to the first, 1 minus 1 is 0, so no more x's. So I put my negative 6x to the first in front. And again, look what I notice. 1b plus 6, 1b plus 6. I don't want to have them twice. So I'm just going to write them one time. Right? So I'm going to say 1b plus 6. Right, so I can cross these out because I wrote them one time. Well, what do I have left? I have 7a to the first minus 6x to the first. So I'm going to write 7a to the first minus 6x to the first. I'm going to put a parentheses around that. And boom, look at that. I have factored my second example. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Again, if I do the monkey face with this one, right, I'm going to get this dude right here when I multiply. Perfect. Right? The key was finding the same parentheses. Did you notice that? Same thing on the first one, right? See? Finding the same parentheses. Okay? So you're going to see those two kinds of examples, and you're also going to see this third kind of example. Okay? You're going to see this third kind of example where we have to do an extra step. So what we're going to do on this one is we are going to reorder, right? We're going to reorder. We're going to reshuffle up these four terms to make sure that we have like terms, right? So for example, this 6bc, okay, 6bc, I'm going to put it with 30xc because c and c. And also because I know 6 and 30, 6 can go into both. So I'm going to write 6bc plus 30xc, like that, plus, okay, so I have that and I have that. Now if I notice small number first, big number second, so these two, I'm going to do that one first, that one second. Small number first, 5, big number second, 25. So, oops, 5bf squared plus 25x f squared. Run out of space here. Okay, so let's take a look at these first two terms, this binomial. So, like I said, I know that 6 and 30, it's going to be 6. So let's look for 30 is here, but there's no 6 here on this row here. Okay, there's a 6 on this row, and there's a 30, so it's 6. So I divide both of these by 6. And what else do they both have? They both have C. Just like that. So, when I divide, 6 divided by 6 is 1, right? 1. And I bring down my B, and my C's and my C's cancel out, so I'm left with just 1B. Plus 30 divided by 6 is 5. And I bring down my X, and C divided by C also cancel out. Right? So I'm left with 1b plus 5x, and then I'm going to put 6c in front. Look at that. Okay. Now, these two here, what goes into 5 and 25, this one, I know that 5 does. 5 goes into 5, 5 goes into 25. What else do they both have? They both have f squared. So, 5 divided by 5 is 1. Right? 5 divided by 5 is 1. And then b, right? The b comes down. F squared divided by f squared cancel out. Plus 25 divided by 5 is 5. And x just comes down, right? Because there's nothing to divide with. And then f squared divided by f squared cancel out as well. So what I divided by was 5f squared. So I know you already noticed 1b plus 5x, 1b plus 5x. Those two dudes are the same, right? So I'm going to write them over here as 1 parentheses, 1b plus 5x. And I can cross them out. And what's left over is 6c plus 5f squared. 6c plus 5f squared. And there you go. Look at that. This is my solution. Right? So this one was a little different. We had to reorder, right? So those are the 3 types of problems that you're going to see in your worksheet, right? So make sure that you copied everything down. You rewind if you have to, right? You are grouping every 2 terms. You're going to find the common factors using your multiplication chart, and you're going to look for the same parentheses. All right? Thank you guys for being here. See you next time.